Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming here today. I appreciate you coming to this little marketing event for Success for TriCore, and it's been great to ultimately get to know intimately each and every one of you on a different level to help you guys with your health and wellness. And so first of all, thank you for coming. Everyone's got a unique story. And I really want to amplify the fact with this event to show that different people in different positions in their lives can still have success. So for example, we hear a lot that some people just like, hey, they talk to me for the first time, or they talk to one of our coaches for the first time, and they're like, I'm almost at the point where I'm gonna lose hope, and or they're gonna give up. And I tell them, no, don't, stop. And with this, a lot of people have been in a very similar situation where they've just gotten to a place where they don't think they can have success. They think this is how my body is, and this is how my health is, and ultimately it's not true. And part of that too is really what we drive home at TriCore is the educational process of how people can really succeed understanding specific principles in fitness and wellness. Once you understand that, now it's working with somebody to help them interpret that into how it can relate into their everyday lives. So taking these scientific principles and then applying them to the day-to-day living of what you and the unique person that you are need to be able to reach the health and wellness goals that you're looking for. And that's the reason why we're here today. So thank you very much for everybody coming here and sharing their story with us. As we get going and stuff too, I want to also kind of tell you guys, and I'm not sure if everybody has heard this, a little backstory on why I started TriCore. So ultimately, this was a passion of mine, was fitness, my entire life. So I played sports, soccer, football, baseball, golf, and so just physical activity and health was just very a part of my day-to-day living. So when I got into college, I immediately chose a job at the gym and ultimately became the head personal trainer at Florida Gulf Coast University. Through that time, I found my love for powerlifting and was the president of the powerlifting club over there. So with that, with my business management degree, and I had a concentration in sports management and all this experience in personal training and fitness, I was like, okay, I'm gonna dive into the world when I graduated and just start helping people. And it was a great career. I really enjoyed personal training. And when I got into it, I was just so gung-ho and ready to help everybody, anyone, doesn't matter. And as I went through this process and people, and as I started realizing that people needed a lot more than just fitness to achieve their health and wellness goals. So ultimately, I started researching about nutrition, of course, right? And blood chemistry analysis, and recovery therapies, and mobility exercises, and biomechanics. And so I started collecting all these certifications as I was going through this process and realized that, fitness was just one component. So if I was doing personal training, I was only giving people a small piece of what they really needed to be able to take control of their health and their wellness goals. So, and I think it was about 2012 is when we started developing the concept for this business and started putting things on paper, right? And my lovely wife, she actually helped me name the name of the company. I'm sitting here like, okay, we have fitness, nutrition, recovery, like, how do I put a name to this? And she's like, TriCore. I was like, that's it. So I actually got to give credit to Kristen for the name of the company. So thank you very much. Yes. But yeah, so it really started out as we were doing nutrition consulting. So I had my personal training clients, I was doing nutrition consulting, and it was just paper. I was going to people in person, on paper, helping them balance their calories, their macros, and just timing everything right, and just getting them to the point where they could really take hold of their health with the fitness that I was doing with them. But then I realized I was going through this, that it took a lot of time. And I wasn't able to stay in touch with people when they weren't in the gym with me, or I wasn't sitting across the table with them. So after we incorporated in 2014, we really designed a more comprehensive approach to the program. But then in 2016 is when I adopted technology. So, and as you guys know, that's a core component of what we do now. And to use technology, we're able to stay in touch with people more, drive home the accountability factor better. We're using things like connected health devices and scales to really grab health data on our clients, as you guys know. And really, the adoption of technology just amplified and scaled everything. So now I'm able to help people and answer questions when they're not there with me. We're really able to help provide that complete support and the communication factor that a lot of people needed to achieve these goals. And really it was just like the next step in evolution. So then after that point in 2016, 2018, we started developing and really realizing that people had a lot of medical and clinical issues. So I think in 16, 17, 18, we started developing our clinical nutrition program. And a lot of those things were out of my scope. So we found some clinical nutritionists and dietitians. We connected with certain types of blood chemistry labs to really now optimize the internal health of our clients too. So in that evolution in 2018, we were really set and structured and really developed a solid business. So now a few years later, obviously COVID hits and 2020 hits. And ultimately, I have to say, despite what COVID was, it helped us propel. It really propelled what we were doing because people were looking for a remote solution for fitness and wellness management, and we were there. So ultimately, we had this whole program set. And because we had an established business, we were really to scale and help amplify more people on a large scale basis. And this has been the journey. And now here we are, 2021. And a lot of us, I think, we started around 2018, 2019. And I got to give credit to Pete because I think Pete was the first one in this group that really started the ball. Yeah, so you're in trouble, Pete. He's like, sorry, guys. But, so yeah, I mean, and from there, it just steamrolled. And obviously, it's been great to meet and know everybody. And everybody's just referring because they've had good success. And I just want to thank you. And that's kind of been like the backstory on starting the company and why I did it. And now we're at the point where, I was talking to Chalmers before we got started here, that we're trying to help more people. How do we scale this even further to where we can use this process and this program and really help large scales of people? So going into working with companies in corporate wellness, we're looking at working with sports teams, even youth sports teams, to really drive home some habit change from an early age to help them understand what true health and wellness is. And obviously working with different fitness clubs and country clubs and things like that too. So, the more that we can spread the knowledge of what true health and wellness management is, the better. So what is the purpose of today? Okay, so the purpose of today is really, we just need to get the word out. So we need to tell people our story, where we came from, why we started, what kind of struggles that we had, and just really let people understand that, hey, it's okay. You can go through some challenges, but there's success on the other side, okay? And really, some people need to see a real live person tell their story that they can relate to. And if we can relate to that person, it can make it a little bit easier to say yes, to actually give us a call, send us that text message, send that contact form online, and just give them the ability to say, you know what, I can do this too. I saw somebody who was in the same situation as me, and you know what, I have faith, I have trust, we can do it. And that's why we're here. We need to help more people, right? So with this, each of us have a different story. We all have a different part in our journey right now because we're still going. Wellness never stops. Some people have achieved some big results and some people are still on the journey right now. So really understanding those specific components too, that this is an ongoing process of true accountability and habit change is very, very key. So really, this is going to serve as motivation, inspiration, and really help to show what real success in health and wellness is like. All right, so now we go to the individual stories and stuff. And Pete, you want to go first? I mean, you were the one that got us here.
Let's get this rolling.
You're the one that got us here. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, tell everybody about your story, man. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, 52 years old. I was 52. I'm 54 now. It's been almost 2 years that I've been doing this. And my family and I were on a trip in Ireland. I'm going to get a little teared up here.
Yes.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And my lovely wife will vouch for it. It was a great trip, but it was really difficult. I was on I was on 2 different cholesterol meds and experimenting with 2 blood pressure meds. Overweight, and I got back and told Patty I got to do something. Sorry.
Thank you, Pete, man. This is inspirational, man. I'm getting choked up. Oh, this is good. Yeah.
It's been life-changing for me, honestly. And went to my doctor. I said, "Tell me what I got to do." And he said, this guy Chris at TriCore does a pretty good job. You should check him out. So here I am. It started really simple, and that's what I liked about it. It was easy.
30 pounds later?
30 pounds and
How many meds are you on now?
no meds.
No meds.
No meds. Yes. That's awesome, man.
And that was, thank you, and that was, you know, within 3 months I was off all meds. I lost about 30 pounds and obviously learned how to eat, and but
Best shape of his life right now.
and
That's awesome.
Incredible.
I mean, I could talk so much. I'm sorry, I'm choked up, but
Wow, this is great.
my-
Thank
my-
you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, but my story has spread amongst friends here.
Yeah.
It had
Yeah.
major effects on their lives as well, and that was never my goal, you know. So I'll add later when I'm not so choked up about but I can't thank you enough, and I've told you before,
Thank you.
I'm your biggest fan.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Well, this is exactly why, we did this, and I can't help but get choked up too. Like, this has been my true passion, is to really help people just understand that they can, and to know that there are other people in Pete's situation, on different medications, and obviously you have to work with your doctor to decide to go off those medications. But if we can make somebody healthier and it can have such a powerful impact on their life, that's why I'm doing this. I mean, that's the real reason why. And with that too, I'd like to pass the mic over to Roxanne, because she had a pretty powerful story too. So Roxanne, thank you.
I was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm very good friends with Pete and Patty, more than good friends. And I had a life-threatening. I didn't know if I was going to live or die during my ordeal. And I went through 2 years of treatment, and it was pretty brutal on my body in all aspects. And I was at a point of almost despair. After the completion of treatment, my oncologist very matter-of-factly said, "This is what you need to do, blah, 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 blah." And I said, "Well, how am I going to do that? And the medication that I'm on for cancer counters everything that you've asked me to do." And he basically said to me, "You're just going to have to figure out what works for you." And I left his office, and I got into my car in the parking lot, and I literally just bawled my eyes out because I didn't know how I was going to do that. And through the whole process of treatment, you take a test, you get results, they tell you what to do. And for 2 years, I was following a medical process that was being dictated to me. And now I'm at a point, at that time I was at a point where now my health and well-being for percentage, to keep the percentage of reoccurrence as small as possible, it was just figure it out. And I really was in despair at the time. And we went away with Pete and Patty, and we sat at the table and we were just talking, and I think I was sort of explaining a little bit about that to them. And they had gone through my journey with me, and Pete said the same thing that he was told: you should contact Chris at TriCore. And so he passed the information on to me, and I believe Pete even did an intro for me with Chris. I contacted Chris, and I basically said to him, "I got a lot of issues going on, and I have cancer. I don't know if you're going to be able to help me." And Chris said, "Well, let's come in and talk with me, and when we're done, we'll see what we can do." And from that first meeting with Chris, And it's been a process, something that Pete said, which really works well. It is a slow process, and it's a methodical process that they bring you through from nutrition. And for me, for cancer, there's a whole nutritional process that goes with that doesn't go with somebody who doesn't have cancer. So we looked at each component, and Chris broke the components down for me. And also, which also is very important, Pete mentioned his wife Patty, and what a support she was for him. One of the things that Chris stresses or says to you, if you have a partner, whether you're married or not, it doesn't even have to be, a romantic partner. It could be a sister or brother or someone else in your life to be supportive to you. And I happen to have someone in my life, my husband Matt. And Chris said, hey, next time you come, bring your husband with you. And this way he has an understanding, and he's a support system for you. And I don't cook, my husband does. So it was a very big component for me to follow that process. And do you want me to keep going? I mean, I
keep going. Yeah.
So breaking down the processes, we started it slowly, and it was with nutrition. And there's so much more to it. It's not just, can you lift a weight? Can you do a squat? There's, the food sensitivities and what how your body reacts to things. And one of the medications that I am on that I have to continue for many years for cancer, we had to figure out how we were going to counteract the side effects to it. And TriCore is able, through their nutritional portion of the program, they're able to work with you with what medications you have to take. So as Pete said, I could go on, but I will pass the mic. But I can tell you, I will also tell you that it has been life-changing. And TriCore is with you every step of the way, whether you have a good day or a bad day, no matter where you are in the program, no matter what degree you are, they're there for you. Basically, I'm almost going to say 24/7, because you are. So it has changed my life, and I can say that if a time comes when my cancer returns, I can actually say I've done everything possible to keep that percentage very small with the help of TriCore.
Thank you, Roxanne. Oh, thank you.
I don't know if I covered what you wanted.
No, you're fine. Thank you very much. It's so important for people to know that too. Like, it's preventative health. It's health prevention is what it is. As we are trying to prevent different types of health issues, diseases, illnesses, and just basically able to live the life that you want to live is what wellness is. Focusing on your fitness, nutrition, and recovery, it's a complete package. You don't just single one of those out. And like what Roxanne was saying on the different components of the program is we've tried to address all of those components. So when somebody comes in, they're getting holistic approach to health. And again, everybody's story is so different. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Who likes to go next? Chalmers, you want to go?
Sure.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, Chalmers.
Well, like Pete and Roxanne, this is very easy. I'm friends with Pete and Roxanne, and they made some obvious, visible changes. And so I'm 62, historically have been kind of up and down weight-wise. And gradually, as I got into my late 50s and early 60s, the percentage of impact that diet has versus exercise, I've always been very active, but I can no longer run off a pizza. And I found that my weight was just gradually getting up. And of course, I was just tightening my belt, and I didn't want to change pants, and I had a whole closet full of, and I was just too heavy. And so the obvious impact on Pete and Roxanne was very clear. And so who is this guy, Chris? And so I called, and it was a great relationship from the very beginning. And for me, learning about the metabolism, right? Getting my body's metabolism more like a bonfire and less like little embers was a giant shift mentally for me, right? A big shift.
Yeah.
And drinking a lot more water than I ever did. And I have to be honest, I've eaten more apples in the past. Really, and not that I ever disliked apples, but I never ate that many apples in my whole life. And but I've lost 28 pounds, and I feel great, and I weigh the same as I did when I was in 10th grade. And I just, that for me was a wonderful shift. And I shared with Chris, my goal was I want to be hiking in my 80s. My wife and I love to hike, and we've seen there are people out there in their upper 80s, and they're doing it. And I wanted to be healthy enough, like you're talking about, I want to be healthy enough where I could do that. And this has been life-changing. This is the only program I've ever done that I think has real staying power. I mean, I think it's just a combination of gradually, as Roxanne said, gradually shifting the diet and gradually having accountability back and forth with the app about what the calories are and the percentage of protein, carbs, and fat. But just learning, right? I mean, it's a different type of learning that for me, I did not really know as much as I thought I did about nutrition, and it's a game changer. And I've recommended and referred several of my friends to Chris from around the country, and it's very easy, a very easy recommendation, but I really feel like this is a permanent shift. I'm staying at 190, and now if I get up a pound or two, I kind of monitor and go back down, where before I think I went a decade without actually getting on the scale. I'd gauge by my belt, which is not actually that good of a gauge. But it's been great. It's easy to recommend TriCore. It's one of the best things ever happened to me in my life. My wife will echo the same thing, and it's been fantastic. So Chris, thanks.
Thank you, Chalmers. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Chalmers actually touched on a point, too, where it was we can work with people remotely. So, Chalmers, he travels all over the world. And a lot of the seminars that he does are in different places in the country and even travel and stuff as well. And we can work with people remotely. So even though we are here in this room today physically, there's a lot of clients that we work with, and I think we're over 300 clients totally right now as a company. And obviously we have a lot down here in Southwest Florida, but we're all over the world. And it was funny, I was looking at some of our analytics the other day, and we have clients in Kuwait, we have clients in Netherlands, we have clients in Australia, China, I think Germany. So I was looking at some of those analytics the other day, and it's amazing to see that we can really spread true health and wellness around the world. And with the leverage of technology, it's totally capable now. So yes, thank you. And please keep referring. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
Chris,
Yeah.
I didn't say I lost 70 pounds.
Yeah.
But upon meeting Chris, one of the things he said was, what are your top 3 goals? And for me, my top goal was to stay alive. I'm not afraid of dying. I just don't want to die right now. And number 2, I said I wanted to be able to be active and be around for my children and grandchildren. But what Chalmers said, and Pete and Patty and all of us, one of my biggest fears is not being mobile as I get older. And TriCore really does concentrate. One of the components is concentrating on that. We are all very active people and hike and do all various different type of activities and adventures. And this has allowed me, as Pete said, has allowed us to continue to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. It's so true too. It's just making sure that we have the knowledge and the confidence to age healthy and gracefully. And that's something that we just stress with the educational part of the program too. So thank you guys. Patty, do you want to go next? Yours is definitely different, you know, in the clinical nutrition side for sure. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'm Patty, Pete's wife. I've been on the journey with him for a long time. And what an amazing transformation it has been. Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
Amazing. I entered the program with a very different goal. I had eczema really bad. I've had it really bad since I was a kid. My entire upbringing was steroids and antibiotics. And as soon as I was off of them, I would be back on them again. After Pete started with his program, and he was having success, he said, you know, Chris has this thing called the Lcat food sensitivity test. Why don't you give it a try?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is an Lcat sensitivity test? I'm a nurse, I have a health background, and I never heard of an Lcat sensitivity test. It's not one of those things that's, you know, in healthcare you treat disease.
Yeah.
You don't try to prevent it, basically. And that's the mentality of most healthcare professionals, unfortunately. So needless to say, I said, let me venture into it. I did the Lcat sensitivity test. I found out a whole lot of stuff that I was sensitive to that I had no idea. I was really my own worst enemy in putting into my mouth what I shouldn't be. And as soon as I stopped eating all of those things, my skin cleared up within 3 months, and I know when I've touched something that I shouldn't. You know, the temptations are always there for sweets and baked goods. You know, you can't say that they're not, but I know with my skin when I have had them, and it's not worth it, you know. So I encourage anybody to go through the Lcat sensitivity testing. It's amazing what you learn along the journey, you know, and for that I'm extremely grateful.
Thank you. Really, anybody can benefit from doing a food sensitivity test, especially the Lcat test, because it's so targeted specifically to you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And the
I agree.
dietitians have been awesome to work with.
I know, we're
Very
so lucky.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, so lucky to
Yeah.
have a great team of dietitians and clinical nutritionists too, so.
And along the way, I dropped a few pounds. And
That's
got a
right.
little fit, and
That's always nice too, yep.
And the test is very easy to take.
Very easy, yep. It's just a little blood test and that's it. And then the rest, we do the work, and then you just follow the nutrition program, that's it. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you, Patty. Thank you. Awesome. Well, let me go to Jody over here next. So Jody and I, we actually have some relationship. Jody was a former powerlifter too. Yep. And that was, you know, how I got started in fitness was through powerlifting as well. But we kind of connected on that in the beginning, but you know, through a referral from Pete and the crew, you know, Jody came here too. So Jody, tell them your story.
So I was the athlete in high school, football, baseball, soccer. I played it all year, summers too, so I could eat whatever I wanted, and my weight stayed the same. As soon as high school ended, the freshman 20 was more like the freshman 30 for me, and I never got rid of it. That was my new norm. So you just kind of get used to it. And then you start powerlifting and the weight goes up because you got to bring the weight up. And now your new norm's a little bit higher. So I'm the type of guy who smells spaghetti and gains 3 pounds. That's me. That is me. I go on vacation, it's 10 pounds if I'm not watching. So I was watching Pete just become this Adonis. And I'm like, hey, give me the number. And so I started TriCore, met Chris in person one time.
Yeah.
Got the scale from him,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
The all-tell scale. And because of COVID and our family situation, I got small kids and I didn't want to get involved in anything. I did everything at home. I never once stepped into the gym. And Chris is right there. laid out home workouts. I mean, push-ups, sit-ups. Oh, go get some bands. I get the bands. And never once did I step in the gym.
No, you did it the entire
Never
time from the
once.
house because of COVID. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Never once. 40 pounds later,
Yeah. Nice, man.
I went back to I think I was 25 years old the last time I'm at the weight I'm at now.
That's awesome.
And I'm 56. So it was just, and then what's so funny is you sit there and you do your lay out your menu and you go, okay, I hit my numbers. And then Chris goes, you're a little heavy on the fat. But you tweak, it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
This whole thing, I mean, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, once you realize the direction and I gotta walk more than 100 steps a day. Damn
That definitely helps. It definitely helps.
you know, and I mean, so you get up and you put your steps in, and you eat what you're supposed to eat,
Yeah.
and you put your 30, 45 minutes, an hour of workout a day, and results.
Yeah.
And I ran through the blood work and did that, but I mean, it really, once you hear what the real direction is, it's simple. It really is simple.
That's awesome, man. I hope more people realize that too. It's like we battle it all the time because there's so much misinformation out there. There's so much fitness and nutrition marketing that is just made to just sell people. And that's not what it is. To really get what you guys are getting, that's not it at all. That we tried to really simplify it.
And what's amazing is now honestly, I have dieted more than I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, every single, the ketos, Miami Beach, I mean, you name the diet, I've done it.
Yeah.
And they all work
Yeah.
to this point. And then you're just there forever.
Yeah.
And so I hit that point just like I knew I would. Just like I knew I would. And I call Chris and I say, we hit it. And he says, all right, increase your calories. And I looked at my wife. I said, guess what he said? He said to increase my calories by 500. And we're going to do that for a month and gain a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
And I did. I'm like, okay, let's go, boy. and then after that little increase, he says, all right, now we're doing this. And then, man, it fell off the shelf.
Yeah.
It just dropped to the floor. And that's when it just kept going. Once I got through that little thing, it was just game on.
That's awesome. I mean, there definitely are some strategies, and everybody has a unique strategy based on their lifestyle and metabolism. You know, and obviously that was what we used with Jody. So, and it worked out great. But, you know, that's why we have such an extensive intake process too, is to learn about who that person is before we get going. Because the strategy that I take with Jody is different than Chalmers, than Roxanne, than AJ here. And ultimately, you have to understand who that person is and the day-to-day lifestyle they live to be able to coach them properly. And that's what those programs don't do, is they are a template-based, generalized program that they don't realize who that individual really is, and that's where those programs fail. They don't take it into consideration. So it's one of the reasons why we have a whole team of coaches that have unique specialties to work with different types of people too, to make sure that those coaches are matched up with the right type of people to develop the proper strategies so they don't hit those plateaus. So thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Jody. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I'm a little bit younger than some other people here in the group. But I will say I was the most apprehensive also joining the program. I am Roxanne's daughter and also an employee of Pete's. And saw Mom's journey with her cancer, and it was just an inspiration seeing the steps that she took to take over her life and her health. And being able to see her not get out of breath walking down the street or helping play with my nieces and nephew, it was just, this works and it's simple. But I was still apprehensive because I used to compete in bodybuilding. It's about 5-6 years ago. I know what I need to do to get the weight off. I'll do it when I can do it. Was kind of, I think, what our conversations were throughout the whole journey, because I noticed weight just kept coming back on after I stopped competing and didn't really know how to transition back into a normal lifestyle. It wasn't till I started working with Pete and I saw his lifestyle changes and seeing him after lunch each day, going out and walking the parking lot and the plaza. And I'm like, okay, like I guess I could do that. That seems easy. Or going out to lunch as a team, seeing the different choices. Oh, he's still getting to eat things and it's not as restrictive as when I used to compete in bodybuilding. And finally, about 3 months ago, still new with the program, 3-4 months ago, met with Chris and told him, this is what I need to do, but I don't want to be restricted. I am young, I am single, I'm going out on dates. I want to still live my life and have fun, but not feel like I am told no all the time. Yeah. And that's what it was with bodybuilding. It was just so restrictive, and it really comes back down to the support system. When I did bodybuilding, all my friends weren't supportive of it. Come on, it's fine, you can eat this. Have a drink, you can have that. Going over to family dinner, bringing my own meals with me. I was that person. Yeah. I was that jerk who went to a restaurant with her own food. And I just didn't want to do that again. Yeah. But really now the support system with mom and dad on the program, seeing Pete at work, it's been easy transitioning with the small steps of just getting steps in each day and still living a life and going out with my friends and finding that balance and being okay if the weight kind of comes up again, because I know what I need to do to get it back down, and just seeing that ebb and flow, but keeping it more consistent on a downward trend than I've been seeing in the past. So it's still new. I am enjoying it. I'm sleeping better. I feel better, but then I also realize I'm taking care of myself again. What also started with at the very beginning of meeting with Chris, when I had to write a timeline as to my fitness journey, I realized I focused on everybody else and stopped focusing on me. So this is the year of taking myself back and getting healthy and making sure I live a very long life.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's huge. And honestly, I can't tell you how many young people are probably in that same situation too, where they just feel so restrictive. They've maybe played sports, have done some extreme diets and stuff like that, and they feel like they're in a restricted capacity and they don't feel like they can get there. So for you to share that is just huge, because I want more people to understand that you can have balance, and you can still go out with friends and have some drinks and not have to worry and have that stress that you're gonna lose track or fall off the edge and just steamroll into bad habits again. But hey, it's okay, one day, no problem, because you have all these other habits over here that are gonna bring you back real quick.
Each time I've planned something, I usually text you before, okay, this
Yeah.
is coming up next week.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking of doing to stay on track for this week, so then I can indulge
Yes.
while I'm gone.
Is that
a good plan?
Yeah, you have to think about that and strategize and just be smart and be aware. And I think really one of the big things too with everybody so far is like, it's a heightened state of awareness is everything that we're doing. So we're more in tune with our bodies. We're more in tune with what we're putting in our bodies. We're more in tune with how we exercise. Maybe this strategy is better than this fitness strategy because of where we are. So that heightened state of awareness is if that's one thing we could walk away with, even for myself as I learn and grow every weekday, month, I'm still learning in this process too. You have to. And it's just having an awareness to where you can say, okay, I can have that, I'm okay, I just need to do this, this, and this, and I'll be fine. And that stress is gone. You're not stressing about food, you're not stressing about what you can and cannot do with your friends. So, great point, thank you. Thank you very much. Matt, do you want to jump in as like the support system with this? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Kind to me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Matt, and I'm 60 years old. And like you heard from several of the other guys, I've played sports my whole life. I've been the gym rat. I've always been in good shape. We went through this with my wife, who I love, and adore, and I watched her body transform through this process in multiple ways and tried to be supportive as I could. And at some point in time, you find out that, well, we need something else. And I remember being there with her and the doctor looking at her and saying, you're not going to do this on your own. You need to get expert help. And that resonated with her and I, and I helped her and pushed her and said, well, you know, let's go find that expert help. We knew Pete. We were living and getting to see what Pete was doing. And so didn't take much encouragement, and she got into the TriCore. As I've sat here and listened to everyone, there's been all these thoughts that I'm thinking, oh, I want to make sure I make that point. I want to make sure I make that point. In simplest, it's 3 parts to it, as Chris has said. And it's not complicated 3 parts, right? It isn't the movie stars that have these workout people and they're doing 2 workouts a day and all that, because we live life. Life's in our way. Life prevents you from doing some of these things. It's simple changes and you still live life. It's accountability. When I used to work out in the gym all the time, it was your workout buddy. You had accountability. You would show up because you knew your buddy was going to be there, or whoever you were working out with. As you get older and life changes, as you're going through, you don't always have the ability to do that. And so you can go a month, a week, a year before you get to stop and change your life. This system, one of the beauties of this system is the accountability. It is so simple. You live your life. It's remote. It's not invasive, right? With technology, it's straightforward. And so I got to see the accountability for Roxanne and the changes it made in her life. And so I think that's a key part of this. Another part for me is that Chris is a science-based kind of guy. I'm a science-based kind of guy, so I enjoyed those conversations and the science behind it all. And again, I didn't follow TriCore. I assisted Roxanne.
Followed it with me, basically.
You know, and I've never had a weight issue, but yet through this process, I lost more weight than I ever thought I could ever lose. and I was back to when I was 16 years old, I was back to that weight. And no intention of doing that, but it's just a byproduct of it. Your metabolism speeds up. You eat whatever you want to eat, though, but you know, with moderation and some thought process, you know what's going in your mouth, and you didn't just absentmindedly eat 1,000 calories and then go have a regular meal. So it is a very simple process. It's easy to incorporate in your life, is what I've seen, and I haven't even done it one-on-one. I've just been on the side.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Matt. That's great to hear. Thank you too. I appreciate it. It's great to hear, you know, somebody as a support system too, to know how they've had that environmental change, you know, just where you're living and how it affects you and everybody around you and stuff too. And again, like we said in the beginning, like that's part of it, is just the people that you're around too. It kind of like spreads these new healthy habits and these practices. And thank you. Yeah, I mean, you're a great support system for Roxanne too. So thank you very much. Yeah. I hear a lot about Matt's cooking too, so maybe we should all do that next time we meet, you know, just have Matt cook. No. Last but not least, this is actually a buddy of mine, AJ, so thanks for coming, man. And AJ's got a unique story too, but yeah, thanks.
Well, we're new buddies. I moved from Minnesota a year ago, and through a friend of a friend, I met Chris, and when I heard he was in nutrition, I'm like, all right, there's a point in your life where you realize, well, there's a saying, if you do something over and over expecting different results, that's insanity, right? And I'm like, all these feds, and I don't even know what to say, because you guys have said it all, really. I was watching YouTube videos on carnivore to keto, and nothing was working, and I was getting frustrated. I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm all in. I'm all in. Chris, tell me what to eat, what to work out, when to work out. Just the whole coaching, accountability thing, I needed that in my life, because I've tried all this stuff and it wasn't working. And now my background's mechanical engineering. I'm a science guy. And when he started talking, most of the stuff was going right over my head. But I got a lot of it. And I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing. And then look at the guy. He obviously knows what he's doing, right? There's some trainers out there that'll tell you all this and that. And I'm like, really? Where's the results, right? And it wasn't like I wanted to get in shape, because people are like, what round is a shape? You know, like, no, I wanted to change. I wanted to develop new habits. I watched the way a lot of people in my life live their lifestyle, and I'm like, no, I can't do that the rest of my life. I don't want to be like that. I got to do something different. And the biggest thing for me was having a coach there every day on the phone, telling me what to do, when to do it, and I lost 20 pounds. So I'm 44. I'm not, old. I'm not young, but it's harder when you get older. It's way harder when you get older. You can't run off a pizza, right? You can't run off a pizza. So I haven't even done the blood work, and I lost 20 pounds. This was just changing. When he said, you're going to eat 4 times a day, I think the first couple days I couldn't even hardly finish my food. I'm like, really? I'm trying to lose weight, and you're telling me to eat more? But it was interesting that I started losing weight. I'm like, oh, yeah, because I'm getting all the nutrition aspects I needed in my life. So it is great to have the balance. Because I told Chris, I'm like, I don't ever want to be the guy that says I can't eat that. He's like, no, don't worry about it. Just don't do it all the time, right? You want to go out and have a good time? Don't do it every weekend. Do it just once a month, right? Have a good time. Just don't do it all the time. So it's creating new habits to cover the old habits that we've been doing for decades of our life. And it's not any fault of our own. It's how we grew up, right? The biggest thing I think is just really calorie intake, because people don't realize that they're over months and years, that's where the weight comes. They don't realize it's happening. But if you have a little focus, you come back to it. So I'm just so appreciative that I met this guy, because I'm going to keep going and I'm going to do all the rest. I'm going to do a body transformation in the next couple of years. So I'm excited for that I'm going to be the best shape of my life at 50, right? I've got 6 years to do it. I'm going to be looking like I'm 49. No. So thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate it, man. No, that's great. That's great. Like everything that everybody said, the key is metabolic optimization. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to optimize your metabolic rate so you can run at a faster, more efficient rate. If you can do that, you can literally do anything. You can still go out and have drinks and enjoy life and not worry about pizza or whatever. And because your metabolism is moving fast, it's efficient, okay? You have all of your nutrients are in check. You're not restricting anything. It's not a restrictive process. It's an inclusive process. You want to bring in certain types of foods at certain times. So, really, how do we optimize metabolism is the key to all this. Thank you guys for sharing your story. I know people are out there saying, I am just like AJ. I'm in the same position, watching YouTube videos, don't know what to do. You're lost. Let us know. Let us know. We can help. Well, thank you everybody for sharing your story. It's very inspiring, and I appreciate going into so much detail too. We're gonna have some open discussion now. Let's get real, okay? And because it's not just all just peaches and roses and cupcakes and butterflies, right? So really, I want to ask, and we can just kind of open it up, right? We'll pass the mic. What were some of the biggest challenges that you struggled with through your journey, okay? Who wants to go first? Because we've all had them. I know you have. I worked with you. So who wants to go? What's that?
I'll start.
Okay.
The food aspect of it, as simple as it was of just eating enough food, because I wasn't eating enough prior, and telling Chris I don't want to be strict about it. A few weeks then down the line, a month down the line, I go, okay, now I need help. I can't do this on my own. I need you to write me out a meal plan. And I think that was at first the most stressful part of knowing how much of a food item I could have, because there's so many different resources out there. MyFitnessPal was a lifesaver, but it was still, okay, hurry up and trying to put it in the app at the restaurant or knowing what to have. I think for me, that was my biggest struggle, was just nailing down the food, because I would think I hit it. And at the end of the day, you tell me you need to have something else. And I'm like, man, can't eat anything else. I don't know. I thought I planned it out perfectly. So that probably for me was just getting into that habit of eating enough and making sure I was getting the right amount of food.
Awesome. A lot of people have that same challenge too. And obviously the second part of that question is how you overcame it, but that's how we did, is we changed strategies. So we got to a different point, set a new style of meal planning that fit your lifestyle. And the key too is that it's gonna adapt. So what we have right now probably is not gonna work 6 months from now. And that's part of the process too, is to know that you are not stuck to a specific plan all the time. So say it's summertime, right? I'll give an example because we're starting to work with more school teachers too, is during the summer, their schedule is completely different. During the school year, it is crazy. And as parents, you guys probably know that as well too. So we can change nutrition strategies so you can stay on track in different seasons and different parts of the year. So, and I think for people out there that are watching this, to know that there are different strategies at different points, you're not stuck to one thing all the time, that flexibility is key. So what are some other struggles that anybody else had?
It's not a struggle, it was a revelation.
Okay.
So one of the revelations that your program does was introducing the taboo foods back into my diet.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Potatoes, you can eat them. Yes. You're supposed to eat them. Fruit is allowed. Oh my God, just little things like that were just changed everything for us. Because I mean, we started eating fruit, and I can't remember before we started, I can't remember ever having fruit in the refrigerator.
That's awesome.
It's just too many carbs, too much sugar, too much this, too much that.
Micronutrients, man, that's the good stuff. Yeah.
As soon as we introduced, the weight started going down.
That's great, dude. That
Health
is
going
huge.
up.
That is huge. Everyone says that too. They're afraid of certain foods. I hear it all the time. You know, people will come in and they'll say, "Hey, I'm afraid of carbs. I haven't had a carb since 1999." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?" You know, carbs have fiber. They have micronutrients. They have all these different, pieces of health that you need on a daily basis. So thank you. That's a good one that I like. Yeah, thank you.
That was also for me as well with the carbs, right? Because I've done some weight loss with the low carb or hardly any carbs, but it just always comes back, right? And it was the first time that I really had those kind of carbohydrates in a meal plan. And for me, shifting to 4 to 5 times a day eating was a little bit of a challenge up front. I just had never done it before, and but it didn't take long, to be honest. I mean, after a week or so, I kind of was in the groove, and but it was a shift, having smaller meals, and more of them. But once you talked about the metabolism, it just made sense. I'm a science guy as well. Yeah. It just makes sense. And so, but it was just more of a shift, but not that big of a challenge, actually.
Yeah. Cool. That's great. That's great. Want to go?
Sure.
What did you struggle with? What was the tough ones?
I struggled with snacking. Love
yeah.
to snack. Especially, I'm a big TV watcher before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And it's like you need something to do, and it's like, nope. Because what I learned from Chris is that it's not necessarily the calories, it's what your hormones are doing in your body. As soon as you put food in your mouth, your body says, I got to do something with this. So and then the walks after, like if you put food in your mouth, it's going to go on your body or you're going to work it off. So it was snacking. And then the other thing was I love bacon and I love fatty ribeye steaks. And he's like, AJ, once in a while, I was eating bacon every day because I was told you need fats in your diet. Well, you need the right fats, not these fats. So I do miss the bacon, but I also looking at the results, and all you have to do when you're challenged with something is go, what's the result? And do I want that result? Well, yeah, that's nothing. I can give up that. This is not a challenge. Yeah. So
I
Nice.
reduced bacon. I did not
Yeah, there you go. Moderation is key. Yeah.
I did not actually get off bacon.
Moderation's key. Yeah, what other struggles? Anybody else have any challenges that they overcame? Like, what was some of the big challenges they had? Anybody? Pete, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
For
What were some of the challenges?
For me, I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy, and you made it really simple for me.
Cool.
So, from the first meeting, okay, I want you to drink more water.
Yeah.
You got to drink a gallon of water a day.
Yeah.
You need to get 8 to 10,000 steps a day, and you got to walk 10 minutes after every meal.
Yes.
So, it's real simple for me.
Yeah.
And then, at every meal, I want 5 meals a day. You got to eat, 1 serving of fat, 1 serving of carbs, 1 serving of protein. So, really the most challenging thing, and I still remember the day that I came home after our first meeting. Patty's sitting there, and I'm looking at this packet that you gave me, and I said, I got to run to the store. I mean, what am I going to eat for dinner tonight? And she's,
I'm like, wait a minute, stop.
what is this guy telling you?
Let me see the papers.
So anyway.
See what you have done for the last hour.
But getting the system down and understanding it. And I'm a technology geek too, and a data geek too. So, I mean, it really has been easy, you know, from the scale to the app to just keeping track of all that stuff, you know, and seeing your progress that way. And you know, I've talked to all these people. It's not linear. It's like this. Yeah. What I've learned, and obviously I've learned that myself and for you guys too. But and it's just patience, and everybody I've talked to, just stay the course. Just stay the course, and just keep doing what you're going to do. And you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, or good weeks and bad weeks. And so I don't know. It really has been super easy for me, honestly. Cool. So
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's something too I want to talk about is like a lot of people, you know, expect the expectations going in. And that's part of having a coach too, is we help them to I would say moderate the reality versus expectations. And one of them is the scale, you know, and everyone thinks, oh, it's going to be a linear line straight down and that's it, you know. But no, based upon how you slept that night, how much water you took in, how much you ate, your hormones, did you have a stressful day at work, you know, all kinds of variables can come into play and how it can change your body composition. And then you're going to fluctuate a little bit every single day. And really getting people to understand that it's the trends over time, stay in the course, keeping things simple, and just hanging on, you're going to see results. And not getting so hyper-focused on, oh, I gained a pound that day, or I gained 3 pounds this weekend because I enjoyed myself. But if you know your metabolism is moving faster, there's no stress behind it, you can snap right back and probably even get better results too sometimes, depending on the strategy. So, yeah. But yeah, no, those are great. Those are great. So another question I had too for open discussion is, you know, what can you say to other people in your specific situation and how they can relate? Like, what would you say to them right now if they're you know, sitting there at home thinking, man, you know what, like, what would you tell them, and how can you relate to them? Anybody?
I'm 44. I'm still single. I still need to find a woman. And if you're 44 and you got a little chubby belly, come on, you're gonna improve your factor a little bit, getting rid of that belly.
Hey, that's true. It is true. It is true.
no, I don't even know what to say after that. First of all, I mean, I own a business, and I work a lot, and I'm committed to it 24/7 basically. And you can still, and many of these people in this room that I know are in the same way, you can still do this and work full time and run a business and get workouts in every week. And so it's definitely doable. And the other thing too is you eat regular food that you buy at Publix, right? I mean, you don't have to buy these specialty things. It's fruit and meat and chicken and fish and veggies. I mean, it's so, which is phenomenal. I mean, it can be done without some of these fads. Yeah. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, that's huge for people they can relate to that. It's just eating real, whole, natural foods and not having to go into a program where it's just all processed powders and shakes and crap. Yes. Right. Yeah. A lot of people think that's the only way to lose weight. It's not. It's not. Yeah. Yep.
I just want to echo that. This is something you can do without, like Matt said, a celebrity trainer in Los Angeles. This is not that. You can have a regular job and do regular life and simply make a few adjustments, and it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. I mean, the accountability factor, as you said, is huge. I mean, I've been very good at working with accountability in my work, helping other people be accountable. And this was the first time that I let myself be accountable in this area. And it was the first time, the only time it's really worked. So there must be something to it. But I invite you to allow yourself to be held accountable, because it does matter.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
You asked, the question was, what would I say to people that are in my situation?
They can relate, yeah.
That can relate to me. You know, no one asks to be diagnosed with cancer. It's out of your control. And even the process of the treatment is, obviously you have a decision, but it's out of your control. You know, these are the things you have to do. And then you get to the other side, and then what? And for me, what I would tell someone is, don't just be satisfied that you got through it. Don't just be satisfied, oh, I completed chemo, I completed radiation, I'm done, because you're not done. You need to take control, take control of your life, take control of your body, take control, become educated and understand what the whole process is. And another example is medication. The medication that has its own side effects, that some of them are just as painful as anything else that I've had to endure, and I have to do this for many years. And don't just be satisfied with, okay, that's the side effect. Well, here's another medication that can help that side effect. It can continue to build on it, because as Patty said, all they want to do, and I'm not saying it in a bad way, is a medication. It's not a cure for it. TriCore looks at what the problem is as something. It could be even something as simple as arthritis, and you have inflammation from arthritis. Well, there's all kinds of medications out there that you can start taking that supposedly help that, but it's just masking it, and that medication adds something, another layer on top of it. I'm not taking any. The only medication that I'm taking is the medication that I have to keep cancer at bay, and I'm also taking another medication that something that radiation destroyed, that I need to do, which I never took before. But everything else that I was taking, we've eliminated, and my side effects are not being managed with medication. They're being managed by TriCore program and all of the nutritional portions. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to call.
Just general nutrition.
The general nutrition portion, even down to inflammation. And I also did the Lcat that Patty recommended it, that I do it, and so did Chris. One of the things for me, it was very overwhelming to me when I first did it. It's still very overwhelming. And again, Chris took it and he said, okay, Roxanne, stop. Let's break it down, and we'll do it slowly and by phases. So there, again, it satisfied or took care of my anxiety over it.
Awesome. I hear that a lot from people, though, because it when you do the Lcat test, it could be a lot of significant food changes, and it was significant for me too. Like one of the ones I was taking cranberry juice every day for the health benefits of it, and then realized it was a severe, food sensitivity for me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had to stop doing this, and then I had to shift some other things in our cupboard. We had to get rid of some certain things, so it can be overwhelming. But like you said, take it slow, take it in steps. Kind of, bring it into sections and slowly transition into that, because it can be overwhelming for a lot of people, but that's how we do it. Just take it time, block it out.
That's how you do the whole program.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
So if I can just take a couple seconds to go back to what Roxanne said for her and for cancer survivors, what it was and what we saw was, it's a terrible process to survive cancer, right? And it is a survival, and it takes a big toll on your body as a human. And so when you're done with that and you've survived it, you sigh this breath of, okay, I made it through. And then you look at your body and you say, wow, what kind of quality of life am I going to have moving forward? And of course, your age has a factor on it. And so for her, this was opening up a door for her how to get back a quality of life that she would have never been able to do on her own after surviving that process. You can't go through the damage it does to your body, but you survive it. And so at that point in time, you can live life, what's left, as a frail person with a lot of limitations, or you can take control, and that's what TriCore did for her.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, no, this is great, guys. I really can't thank you enough for sharing your story, sharing the challenges, showing how people can relate, because that's what it's all about, is how can we help more people? is really what it comes down to. I appreciate it. Does anybody have any, last final words for today? Nothing?
I want to say thanks. I mean, it's been a real life changer, and I will continue to refer people your way. It's a pleasure. I know you'll take care of them, and I know some that I have referred who are not here are reporting great results already. And so it's fantastic, Chris. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And seriously, for anybody out there that is interested in making a lifestyle transformation, let us know. If you can do any one thing right now, is start to look at and evaluate certain types of habits that you have with your fitness, with your nutrition, and your recovery and stress management, and just make small changes right now. When you're ready to take the plunge, and even though, yes, it's a baby steps approach, we will be there, and we have a team of coaches, clinical nutritionists, physical therapists, health coaches. We have a whole team that's ready to help you take control of your health. So if you're ready, like all of our friends and family here today, okay, let us know. We'll be ready for you. Thank you.